Animal Crossing is a game that is loved and adored by many. Originally released in Japan in April of 2001, Animal Crossing upon its release was called Tobutsu no Mori, which translates to Animal Forest in English. This first installment of the Nintendo game sold over 200,000 copies within the short year that it was available. Since then, the game series has grown massively, releasing numerous games including Animal Crossing, which was the English GameCube version in 2002, Wild World for the DS in 2005, City Folk for the Wii in 2008, New Leaf for the 3DS in 2012, Pocket Camp for the mobile phone in 2017, and New Horizons for the Nintendo Switch in 2020. There have been other installments into the series and plenty of merch sold. Needless to say, it has only grown in popularity over the years. With my own love that I've had for the series since I was a kid, I decided this would be the best Iceberg for me to cover after my SpongeBob series, which, by the way, you can find linked in the description of this video. If you are unfamiliar with Iceberg videos, the deeper you go into the Iceberg, the more elusive, unknown, creepy the information becomes. Thankfully, compared to the SpongeBob Iceberg that I covered, this one is relatively tame and has much less NSFW content on it. So I will be covering every single entry in this Iceberg. Although the tiers are not named, I've decided to name them myself, naming each one after a different game in the Animal Crossing series. Tier 1, Animal Forest. 2, Animal Crossing. 3, Wild World. 4, City Folk. 5, New Leaf. 6, Pocket Camp. And 7, New Horizons. Alright, enough of me blabbing, and without further ado, here is the Animal Crossing Iceberg. Tier 1, Animal Forest. The first entry in this tier is Wisp. Wisp is a friendly ghost character who first appeared in City Folk and has been in all of the games up until now, New Horizons. He only appears at night, and once the player encounters him, he will employ the player to find and collect 5 different spirit orbs. The Money Rock. Every day, the island spawns rocks in random locations. Hitting the rocks can give the player iron, clay, or even smaller rocks. But one of those rocks will give you bells, which, if you're unfamiliar with Animal Crossing, bells is the form of currency in the game. The rock then was given the nickname Money Rock for obvious reasons. Side note, since rocks spawn in any random open space, I know people who covered every square of their island, aside from a few just so that the rocks would spawn there and they wouldn't have to hunt down the Money Rock. Blanca. Blanca is a special cat character who has appeared in almost all of the major games aside from New Horizons. As you can see, Blanca is a white cat with a cute flower dress and no face. In Animal Crossing and City Folk, when the player meets Blanca, they are able to draw a face onto Blanca. Also, Blanca's gender is different in the Japan versions of the game compared to the international ones. In Japan, Blanca is a boy, and in all of the other versions, Blanca is a girl. You can use the toilet. If you have a toilet in the game, yes, you can use it, and it does actually work. You can sit on it, and when you hop off, it'll make a little flush noise. Also, if you have some food in your belly, using the toilet will indeed drain the energy you got from the food. KK Bubblegum. This is an upbeat song sung by the epic ultra famous pop star KK Slider. The name is likely inspired by the music genre bubblegum pop, which is a genre that includes upbeat catchy tunes. One Up SFX. There is an Easter egg in New Horizons in which if you are hitting a money rock, there is a chance that this Mario sound bit will play. Splatoon references. Splatoon is this game that was also made by Nintendo and has a sizable fan base itself. Animal Crossing and Splatoon are also both produced by the same guy, Hisashi Nagami. Within the 2 most recent installments of Animal Crossing, Nintendo has thrown in some Splatoon puns or just regular references such as this one, said by Blathers, where he suggests that you do, and I quote, some sort of ink-squirting contest of champions. Photo applications. In New Horizon, the character named Harvey has an island that a player may travel to via Dodo Airlines in order to go there and take cute pictures. There's also a community on Reddit that is dedicated to sharing great photo applications on their and others' home islands. Rossetti's house. Don and Mr. Rossetti are 2 mole characters who own a surveillance center in the town. In Animal Crossing E+, in order to find it, the character must hit rocks to eventually reveal a hole beneath one, which will take them to the home and surveillance center of the Rossettis. In the subsequent games that they appear in, it is much easier for the player to find the home. And now in New Horizons, you cannot visit Mr. Rossetti's home. Pier exclusive fish. In the game, you are able to catch fish. Each fish has different locations, time of year, time of day, and weather conditions that are particular to that fish in order for it to spawn. There are some fish that are exclusive to being caught strictly at one of the few piers on the island. In New Horizons, there are only 4 fish that can be caught at the tiers: tuna, blue marlin, giant trevally, and mahi-mahi. With these fish being so rare, they are worth thousands of bells. Animal forest. Like I said in the intro, this is the original name for the game. Animal forest being the English translation from the Japanese title Dobutsu no Mori. Population growing. This is the name of the US initial release of the series that came out in 2002 for the Nintendo GameCube. Dear God, I miss the GameCube. This game was my first introduction to the series, and I remember being like 4 years old at my cousin's house begging for them to let me play Animal Crossing on their device, Serena. Serena is a special dog character that appears only in City Folk. She is dressed in all white, adorned in gold, and only appears as a statue in the fountain in the city. In order for Serena to appear, the player must donate 200,000 bells to the town fund. Then, they must throw an axe in the middle of the fountain. Once she appears, she will ask the player a variety of questions. If she likes them, Serena may give the character a gold or silver axe. She can tend to be quite temperamental and is unpredictable whether or not she will actually give you those axes. Bug Fight Club. In the museum in New Horizons, if you go to a certain sappy tree in the bug section, a player may come across beetles fighting on a tree with a group of beetles gathered around to watch. Although this may seem odd, beetles are abundant in Japan and can genuinely be found fighting each other in the wild. This also happens in other places around the world too. But in Japan, people even bet with their friends on which beetle they think will win the fight. Putting this little beetle fight club into the game is a nice little homage to this cultural phenomenon in Japan. Chrissy and Francine are sisters. Chrissy and Francine are these two adorable, brightly colored bunny characters who appear in most of the Animal Crossing games. They are also the only two non-special characters, so they're just regular villagers who are confirmed to be siblings. The Roost. The Roost is a cafe/coffee shop owned by the pigeon character Brewster. It first appeared in Wild World and has been a beloved place to visit ever since. Money trees. These are a similar idea to the money rocks. If you shake or hit trees, they drop items like wood, branches, and sometimes even money. Editing Hamster here. When I first filmed this video, I did a really bad job of explaining the money trees. So if you plant a bag of bells into the ground, you have the chance to either get 3,000 bells, 30,000 bells, or up to 3 times the amount that you buried. So it's like planting a fruit tree, but instead of the fruit, you get money. So it's not really like the money rock. I was wrong. Octopus villagers. There are only a few octopus villagers in the game, and by a few, I mean 5 in the whole series. These octopi are Zucker, Marina, Octavian, Cephalobot, and Inkwell. Not to brag, but I personally have Marina as a resident on my island right now in New Horizons. I know, there is no need to applaud me. It is such an impressive feat. Amiibo cards/figures. These are physical merchandise that you can connect to your Nintendo games. If you have a card or figurine, you can connect it and invite that specific character to your island. There are even some characters that can only appear if you have their Amiibo card. Like in New Horizons, you can only meet Isabel's brother Digby if you have his Amiibo. Happy Home Designer. This was an offshoot game that came out for the 3DS in 2015. Here's the description from Nintendo. Show off your style by designing homes for all of your favorite Animal Crossing villagers. Use your creativity to design the perfect houses inside and out for both old and new friends. With the new Amiibo cards, you can call your favorite villagers into the game. Although this is different from the mainline games, Happy Home Designer has generally good reviews and has garnered a considerable amount of praise. Pocket Camp. Instead of owning a village, the player now has a campsite in which they have the opportunity to upgrade, decorate, and invite villagers to. I personally was super obsessed with this game for like a good 6 months after it came out. I would log in every day to try to upgrade my campsite and make it the cutest space possible. Mario Kart DLC. In Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U, which, the Wii U was awful, there is a DLC pack that is Animal Crossing themed. Once you purchase the pack, here's what you can get. 3 characters, 4 vehicles, and 2 cups with 8 courses included. Froggy Chair. This chair is simply legendary. It was first found in New Leaf and was used by many on Tumblr for a series of wholesome memes. Tag yourself, I'm chaotic neutral. This chair is so beloved by many in the fandom that even some go as far to get it tattooed on their body. I mean, come on, look how cute this tattoo is. I want this chair in my own actual real life home. It's so adorable. I love it. Anka. This is a cat villager who is ancient Egyptian themed. A lot of people desire to have her on their island, and she seems to be a very coveted villager among fans. Also, in late summer of 2021, there was this odd video of a particularly thick Anka dancing sort of suggestively to some Animal Crossing music. Then there were some explicit edits of the same video that got spread around because the internet and TikTok is a weird place. Raymond. Raymond is another cat character. He first appeared in New Horizons and quickly became one of the most popular characters amongst fans. He is a gray cat with brown-green heterochromia. Seriously, so many people were obsessed with him that in the online Animal Crossing black market, people were willing to spend tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of bells in order to have him move on their island. Tier 2, Animal Crossing. Frillard. Frillard was a frill-neck lizard who appeared only in City Folk. In the game, he only occasionally took the place of Dr. Shrunk in the marquee to teach the player 6 different emotions. He has not appeared in any other game since. 3:33. This is an Easter egg that appears on the TVs in the games at 3:33 a.m. If you're watching your TVs at this specific time, they will become seemingly hijacked by some aliens, and here's a clip of what happens. The original mayor. In Animal Crossing, Wild World, and City Folk, Tortimer the Turtle was the original mayor. I mean, look how cute this old guy was. In New Leaf, he retires, and the player becomes the new mayor, with much help from Isabelle. Lucky items. These are a wide variety of items that give 777 bonus Happy Home Academy points when placed in the home. If you don't know, the Happy Home Academy points help increase your home's rating in the game. Feng Shui. Having a harmonious space in your home is imperative to getting high ratings from the Happy Home Academy. Feng Shui is a practice in which the goal is to increase the flow of positive energy in the house. Like with real-life Feng Shui, the placement of items is very important and increases the energy flow. On the screen are some charts that show how the Feng Shui works in rooms on Animal Crossing. Customization restores tool durability. As you use tools in the game, their lifespan gets shorter and shorter, and they eventually break. If you use a customization pack to change the look of a tool, it will return to a like-new quality. Ica Village. This is a tourable fan-made village that is accessible through dreams and first appeared in New Life and is now in New Horizons. The village itself is notoriously creepy and has garnered plenty of theories speculating what the story behind the oddity is. The creator himself has created the village with the intent of creating a horror-type experience, but has never concretely explained the story behind it. Isabelle is a bell. Here's the bell bag, and here's Isabelle's head. They are the same shape. Isabelle is a bell. Isabelle drinks alcohol. In Pocket Camp, Isabelle was given the ability to drink something called vacation juice, which looks suspiciously like a mixed drink. In New Horizons, once you boot up the game, you are greeted by a very cheery Isabelle who is drinking a suspicious-looking brown ice drink. Many have joked that the drink is whiskey or a Long Island iced tea and that Isabelle is an alcoholic. But it's likely that she isn't day drinking, I mean it's Animal Crossing, but just enjoying a nice ice-cold glass of regular non-alcoholic tea. But who knows, maybe Isabelle really does need that drink. I mean, she's with Tom Nook all day. NES games. In the original Animal Crossing game, there was an ability for players to play 19 different NES games, including Donkey Kong, Pinball, and Mario Bros. To play them, you must purchase them from a special character or be gifted them from a villager. The Shrunk Funk Shuffle. The character Dr. Shrunk works at a theater of some sort in Wild World, City Folk, and New Leaf. In New Leaf, once a player has learned all but one of the emotions, Dr. Shrunk will teach them the Shrunk Funk Shuffle, that is a tongue twister, which I will play a video of now. Animal Crossing anime. This was a movie that came out in 2006 that was based on the game itself. Here's the description on Crunchyroll. Ai is a self-reliant girl that moves to Animal Village. She makes friends with the various villagers as she settles into the village. One night, as she walked along the beach, she finds a message in a bottle. It sets her off on a quest of planting pine trees around the village to fulfill a miracle on the eve of the winter festival. Toy hammers. In New Leaf, there was a new tool introduced called the toy hammer. Unlike the other tools, which were much more useful, this one was used mostly to hit and absolutely abuse villagers. I have totally never ever hit a villager I hate. I would never do that. In Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Isabelle uses the hammer for her neutral attack. Animal Forest E+. This was an expansion for the GameCube Animal Crossing game that was released only in Japan in 2003. This utilized e-reader cards and introduced a total of 66 new villagers, 18 islanders, 21 furniture items, 16 insects, 3 songs, and 3 minigames. There were also other updated data, moving services, and a slightly different interface. E-reader cards. As I mentioned these in the last entry, these were integral to the Animal Forest E+ game. The e-reader functionality worked super similarly to the amiibo cards that we have now, and it could be used to scan in villagers, designs, and islanders. Tier 3. Wild World. Who sends the balloon presents? In the game, you can see balloons flying around and carrying a present attached to it. If you use the slingshot tool, you can pop the balloon and obtain the present. The thing is about these presents, no one knows who or where they come from. There has been no mention of it in the games, and there is little to no clues about who it could be. There are a lot of theories on this, such as they might be overstock sent out from Red, fun gifts from Mom, villagers from other islands, and a few other theories. Animal Crossing Plaza Wii U. This was essentially an Animal Crossing themed Wii U plaza. It wasn't extremely popular, but the Wii U itself was not highly rated and is infamously one of the most hated Nintendo consoles. I digress. Some people enjoyed the plaza as it was a nice service where you could talk about and share pictures of your island, while others said it was just a glorified message board. It has been discontinued and is no longer available for download. 64DD. 64DD stands for 64 Disk Drive, which was a Japan-exclusive add-on for the Nintendo 64, hence the 64 in the name. The OG version of Animal Crossing, which originally designed for the 64DD, however, given how long it was taking to finish the technology, Dobutsu no Mori was released for the traditional Nintendo 64. This was probably a good thing, as the 64DD was a giant flop and was generally disliked or just kind of saw as useless. Secret KK songs. Throughout the game, Superstar KK Slider came out with some absolute bangers. However, a small handful of these are considered secret due to the fact that they are only available if the player requests them specifically from KK. In New Horizons, there are 3 secret songs, being Drive-In, Animal City, and Farewell. Wisp's Masters. Wisp was the first entry in this whole Iceberg, so you should know who that little cutie is. In Wild World and City Folk, Wisp is more genie-like, as he is connected to a golden genie lamp. He says he works for a scary boss who he is admittedly scared of. His masters/bosses are never revealed, so as typical of fans, there have been some theories about who they may be, but there is nothing concrete. Getting kicked out of Nook's. Nook's Cranny is a store owned by Tom's adoptive nephews, Timmy and Tommy. The store sells a variety of items at a variety of prices, and they also buy things there. The store is open from 8 to 10 p.m., at least that's how it is in New Horizons, and if you're in the store once the clock hits 10, Timmy will kick you out, but in a very polite way. Mr. Rossetti controversy. In the first few Animal Crossing games, when the player would start the process of signing out of the game, Mr. Rossetti would pop up and berate the player to save the game. He would sometimes go as far as to joke that he would reset the player's whole game if they didn't save. The controversy here is that Mr. Rossetti's brashness was seen as way too much. Like, seriously, children cried and said that he was scary. So in New Leaf, his interactions became optional, so to save the younger players from the trauma of him yelling about how dumb they are for not saving. Haunted paintings. In New Horizons, some of the fake art that can be bought from Red are supposedly cursed/haunted. They may move around on their own, and most famously, the Wistful painting, which is actually the girl with the pearl earring, it has been known to blink/close her eyes at different times. Tom's Nook's pajamas. In some of the earlier games, if you go to Nook's shop in the middle of the night and wake up good old Tom, you can catch a glimpse of him in his cute little pajamas and nightcap. Pattern stumps. In New Leaf, when the tree is chopped down with an axe, the axe may leave behind a cute stamp on the stump. It rarely occurs if you use a regular axe, but if you use a silver or golden one, it almost always happens. Here are some stump patterns that may occur. Lottie wears too much makeup. Lottie is a River Otter special character who is the niece of Lyle, who says this of her: "It's all that makeup she wears," implying he thinks that she's wearing a little too much, but all that I can tell on her is just mascara, so who knows. Totaka's song. Kazumi Totaka is a Japanese composer who is most known for his musical compositions in many Nintendo games. Totaka's song is a secret song in which the player must approach KK Slider when he plays music on Saturday night and request that he plays the song KK Song, which is a version of Totaka's song. This song is also a fun little Easter egg in a lot of other Nintendo games as well. Detailed knees. In New Horizons, one change that came with the new game was the addition of more visible kneecaps on the player's village avatar. Here 4. City Folk. Bao and Meow. These are 2 villagers who strictly appear in Dobutsu no Mori E+ and are only available if you had their e-reader cards. These cat and dog characters appear to have a green LCD screen on their face. They were created to promote the Meowlingual and Baolingual devices that were created to translate the sounds of cats and dogs respectively, available in Japan. Brutus. Brutus is an urban legend / creepypasta character who has been rumored to exist for years now. He's a purple bulldog with red glowing eyes and is said to act very oddly. He would crash the game when a player entered his house and speak in binary code and other weird kinds of things. As I said, he doesn't actually exist despite the hoax photos that some people have posted to the internet. Farley. Farley is a special gnome-looking character who appeared only in Animal Crossing and E+. His actual species is unknown, and his function is extremely similar to Serena, who was explained in the previous tier, but he actually preceded her. He lived in the town's fountain, and once a player achieved a perfect town, he would gift the player a golden axe and give them some wise words. Reference to the Da Vinci Code. In the fake version of the academic painting, painting, which is actually Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man, it has a key taped to the back of the painting. This is in reference to the 2003 book, The Da Vinci Code, in which there is a key taped to the back of a painting as a plot device. DSi Clock/Calculator. In the Nintendo DSi shop, this cute Animal Crossing themed calculator/clock application was released. It was 200 Nintendo points, but is no longer available in the DSi shop as it closed in 2017. Although now defunct, we still have the description for it from the DSi shop. Need to figure out what you owe Tom Nook or the amount in your savings account? Animal Crossing Calculator features the full functionality of a traditional calculator, including a memory key and the ability to set up and display 13 digits, and it adds a layer of atmosphere unique to Animal Crossing. Use the unit converter to turn one unit of measurement into another, such as length, height, volume, age, and others, or track the history of calculations you've performed with ease. Listen to the Animalese pronunciation of numbers when you process them, and watch for favorite Animal Crossing character to appear when your results meet certain criteria. Look no further for a fun but practical way to experience the charm of Animal Crossing. It is still available for purchase on the 3DS shop, but it will become unavailable for purchase on March 27, 2023 when Nintendo closes the 3DS shop. So you better hurry and buy this for your 3DS if you want this gem of a calculator. Hidden bug on museum wall. In New Horizons, there is a hidden bug on a museum wall. Well, obvious because this is the title of the entry. If you use the camera on your Nook phone to see a wall that is typically unseen, up in the corner you can see a bug that is not a part of any exhibit and is seemingly free roaming. The bug changes per person/per island, and people have seen a moth, ants, centipedes, etc. The black void. I'm reading this description directly from a website because I just couldn't put it any better, and honestly, I've never heard of this term before. When a villager decides to leave an island, it will take them a few days to pack up their things, which the Animal Crossing community refers to as being in boxes. At this point, two things can happen. A different player can ask them to move in, quote-unquote adopting them, or the villager will be voided, i.e. they'll move away and may not go to another island immediately. Some villagers who go into the void will move into empty plots on recent visitors' islands. Other times they'll stay in the void. Animal Island. This is an island that appears in the OG Animal Crossing GameCube game and Ubutsu no Mori E+. The island is only accessible by taking a boat ride with Cap'n. Once the player arrives, they will find that the island is inhabited by a singular islander and has one structure, which is a bungalow. The player has the opportunity to then name the island and return whenever they please. Cheering wallpaper. This is a moving wallpaper sold exclusively by Sahara in New Horizons. It is called ringside, and it makes it look as though the player has just entered a boxing ring. If the judge's belt item is placed and then rung by the player in the room, the crowd in the wallpaper will actually audibly cheer. Timmy and Tommy are adopted. In Wild World, Tom Nook explains to the player that these two trash pandas are not actually related to him by blood, but rather he just kind of picked the orphans up off the street and now has given himself the responsibility of taking care of them. 79 degrees Celsius is the perfect coffee temperature. The Roost is a coffee shop run by the pigeon character Brewster, as I mentioned before. After going to the Roost and buying coffee for a while, Brewster will eventually ask the character about their preferred coffee. However, the player can only choose the regular. He will then tell the player the exact temperature of the coffee, which is 176 degrees Fahrenheit, aka 80 degrees Celsius. Although he appears in most games, Wild World is the only one that he reveals this specific information. Identity of the wanted figures. In Ubutsu no Mori, Animal Crossing, and E+, there can be found a wanted poster of two unnamed fugitives in the back of the police station. They appear to be a male goat and a male mouse. In E+, there is another wanted poster outside of the station. Nothing is known about these criminals aside from the fact that they're on the run. Special phone cases. In New Horizons, you get this Nook phone in which you can change the case of. If you get a customizable phone case kit, you can select one of the preset appearances or create your own phone case. Tier 5. New Leaf. Identity of the unnamed police officer. Appearing in the same games as the unnamed fugitives, there is another poster with another unnamed character. In the police station, there is a promotional poster with a dog villager doing a salute with the line, "I want you" above it. It is unknown who this character actually is. The Singing Bug Boy. This is yet another unknown character that appears in the OG Animal Crossing. Villagers may show you letters that they receive, and some of them come from someone who signs them the Singing Bug Boy. The letters contain tips on how to catch different bugs and are ended with bugs. Tiny Tommy Hicks. In Wild World, there is a nearby town named Boondocks. When a player donates bells to the city fund, the clerk will inform them about how this will benefit a character named Tiny Tommy Hicks. Tiny Tommy is never seen but only heard about. Source of the coffee beans. There's no clear information about where the coffee beans that Brewster gets come from. You cannot grow beans yourself on the island, so Brewster must import them from somewhere. Identity of the phone clerk. This is yet another unseen character, but now they appear in Wild World. The phone clerk helps the player with little things like setting the time. It is thought that the phone clerk may actually be another human because they speak BBEs instead of Animalese, a language that is only spoken by humans or snowmen. Nindari. Nindari is an orange ostrich character who appeared only in Dobutsu no Mori E+, and was accessible only if the player had his E-card. Gyroid face glitch. This is a gaming urban legend from the OG Animal Crossing game. Here's a description of what it actually is from the wiki. If a player takes the in-game train to the town of another player online, resets the GameCube while in the other player's town, and starts up the game again, the player will lose all of the items they had in their inventory at the time, and their avatar's face will be replaced with that of a gyroid statue, completed with empty eye sockets and gaping circular mouth. This was something that a lot of people were very afraid of happening to them, but there's also other people who wanted this to happen to them and would try this hack. Red is cursed. As mentioned before, the art dealer Fox Red sells real paintings, fake paintings, and even some haunted paintings. It is theorized that given all of this haunted art that Red obtains, he must be cursed if he is getting this much. Alien Uprising. I believe that this is partly a reference to the 3:33 a.m. reference from a previous tier, but also Celeste, an owl who gives out star item recipes, will occasionally give the player a recipe to create a flying saucer, which matches the same one that appears in the 3:33 showing. These are not the only references to aliens throughout the franchise though. There are plenty of instances of aliens throughout, and aliens are even a major plot point in the Animal Crossing movie. Haribuna. This is a fish that only appears in Dobutsu no Mori and E+. It is a medium-sized fish that can be found in the river pool year-round. Tier 6, Pocket Camp. The Raccoon Goons. This is a group of trash pandas who are mentioned by Tom himself once in the OG Animal Crossing game. He jokingly threatens the player that if they don't pay him around 1,000 bells a week, he will send his army of goons after them like some sort of mafia boss. The Whale Shadow. The whale is an Easter egg that appears in the ocean near the boat when the player takes a trip with Cap'n. The game's code does indeed reveal that it is a whale, with the data being labeled whale_data. Tom's Nook's printer is a Xerox Work Center 7225. A Redditor who claims to work on computers said that Tom Nook's printer in New Horizons is based off this real-life Xerox printer. I personally work with these printers in real life, and if that is the truth, then good luck to Mr. Nook, because these things are real pieces of shit, like seriously so many paper jams. GameCube Frozen Timeline. The GameCube original version of the game can only take place between the years 2001 to 2030. If you set the year to 2030 and then wait for New Year's for the time to change, you will find that the year won't move forward to 2031, but instead just continually repeat 2030, making you stuck in this limited timeline. Test maps. I honestly couldn't find much on this entry aside from this YouTube video. I'm assuming this is in reference to some beta maps that are very bare bones. The Forbidden Four. As mentioned previously, in the OG Animal Crossing, one could obtain NES games to play within Animal Crossing. However, there are 4 that are notoriously difficult to get, only being available via hacks, gifts, or in the case of Legend of Zelda, just being flat out unobtainable. The 4 are Mario Bros, Ice Climber, Super Mario Bros, and Legends of Zelda. Mario Star makes you flash. In Dobutsu no Mori E+, there is a furniture item called Starman, which is modeled after the classic Mario Star. It is only obtainable if the player has an item code. When the player turns the star on, it will play Mario music and the player will flash like in Mario. IQ game. If you know anything about China, then you would know that the Chinese government censors a lot. The IQ was the Chinese equivalent of the Nintendo 64. When Animal Crossing first came out in 2001, China had banned the game from being available in their country. 5 years later, in 2006, Dongwu Senlin came out in China. Dongwu Senlin is the Chinese copy of Animal Crossing and was the only mainstream Animal Crossing to be available to Chinese citizens until New Horizons. Tom Nook runs a child labor cult. It is true that Tom Nook is no stranger to child labor, as he literally employs his young nephews to work for him nearly around the clock. Tom Nook has also been compared to the likes of Jim Jones and other cult leaders for his extremely loyal followers, with Timmy and Tommy even calling him their fearless leader. Tier 7. New Horizons. Animal Crossing is a communist propaganda. While some people say that Animal Crossing is a capitalist haven or capitalist dystopia, others believe that it is communist propaganda. In my opinion, Animal Crossing is much more in line with capitalism, or at least a mixed economy. Communism is all about the absence of private ownership and abolishing economic classes. While Animal Crossing doesn't have any clear classes, there is plenty of private ownership. Maybe people who don't understand communism are just scared of sharing in public work projects, so they see any kind of socialist action or policy as communism. All right, that's enough of my mini lesson on economic systems. I am going to move forward before I dig myself any deeper because I really couldn't find very many people talking about Animal Crossing being communist. Animal Crossing is the afterlife. This is the fan theory that was posted to Reddit that poses the idea that the game is actually the afterlife and you arriving to the town is just you stepping into the afterlife after you had passed away. Gifts and letters you receive from your mother are actually just the items that she places on your grave in the real world. The whole game is quite peaceful and filled with mundane tasks and has minimal to no true hardships, just like many people believe the afterlife should be. Catchless fish. 14 years ago, a user posted this to a discussion board. Has anyone come across a large fish in the ocean that you cannot catch? It will bite, bring bobber under, but swim away when I bring him in. It's a large fish like a salmon. It's really bugging me because it's the only fish I can't catch. Fish that rarely come around can be considered difficult to catch. People in the comments were speculating that the fish in question was likely a coelacanth, the most rare fish in the game. Strange cubes. I believe this is in reference to this video posted by a fan on Reddit.
Hey, what kind of freaking stupidity is this? Okay, these are the number blocks for my Animal Crossing calendar. This one has 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this one has 1, 2, 6, and 9, 7, and 8. So I can't make the 3rd of March because 0 and 3 are on the same freaking cube. Somebody was not thinking.
In the comments, someone comments, yeah, those are some strange cubes. Titanic. I don't know if this is actually true or not, but the Animal Crossing wiki claims that if you go fishing, you have a very, very, very rare possibility of catching the actual Titanic boat. It can only be caught on the pier, and it is the largest catch in the game. I couldn't find any videos or actual concrete proof that this is a real thing in the game, so I don't really personally believe that this is real. Deathwing. Deathwing was the name of an evil fish that was rumored to have existed. It had red eyes and fangs, it sparkled and drank blood, and went by the name of Edward Cullen. Okay, maybe I added in the last 3, but you gotta admit, the red eyes and fangs makes you think of a vampire, right? It is rumored that if you caught good old Deathwing in your game would freeze up and then wipe all of your memory. Gyroid boxing match. I'm not totally sure if I have the right thing for this one, but all I could find for this was that a player built one of the rooms in their house to look like a boxing ring for gyroids. Pikachu pet. This was an item in the OG Animal Crossing game that could only be obtained if a villager gave it to you. It was titled Pokemon Pikachu, and it looks suspiciously like a Tamagotchi pet, which I'm sure it was modeled after. Cap'n and Leilani have an open relationship. Cap'n and Leilani are 2 turtle characters that appear in the games. Cap'n is in all of them, but Leilani is revealed to be his wife in New Leaf. Leilani wears a red flower on the right of her hair, which apparently in some cultures means that you are available or open for business, if you know what I mean, implying that her and Cap'n are swingers or are welcoming to adding other partners. 9/11 happened in the Animal Crossing universe. In 2020, a Twitter user pointed out that in the Dodo Airlines airport, there is a sign that shows no liquids allowed on the plane, saying that it implies 9/11 happened in the Animal Crossing universe. While the 9/11 attacks caused airports and airlines all over the world to tighten up security measures, they weren't the reason for the liquid ban on planes. Instead, in 2006, once it was found that terrorists brought explosive liquids disguised as soft drinks onto a plane with the plan of exploding them, there was a ban on all liquids. This action then changed airport/airline policies forever, bringing airports to ban any kind of outside beverages to be carried onto the plane in case of a security threat. If anything, I do think it still somewhat implies in a small way that there are threats of terrorism within the universe, but they also have images of banning aerosol cans because aerosol cans can risk exploding with the change in air pressure. So maybe Dodo Airlines is actually just committed to keeping their planes so clean and they don't want any nasty smells from Sticky Pop. And that brings us to the very end of the video. If you stuck with me all the way through, thank you so much. And if you liked it, please leave a like or a comment. And if you want to further support me so you can see more content from me in the future, please, please, please press the subscribe button right now, or else Deathwing the vampire fish will come to your room at 3:33 a.m. tonight. Again, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!